Folks, here OS and VTReviews.com. You're watching a tech fight between the Sharp IS13SH Aquos phone and versus the ZTE Flash. Both of these devices are fairly mid to high-end Android-based smartphones with a respectable feature set, but they are very similar in terms of design, elementation, and the price tag as well. So we're going to compare these two in terms of specs and usability. First off, let's take a look closer at the design. Now, in terms of design, of course, the Sharp Aquos phone has a ticker display on the bottom, which makes it slightly more unique. That said, the general shape of both phones are very similar with the slate form factor and the transflective screen that reflects a lot of sunlight and a lot of smudges under your fingerprint and constant usage. As far as dimensions are considered, both devices are practically the same, but the ZTE Flash does weigh a little bit more in terms of having that extra camera dimension and bulk on the back than the Sharp Aquos phone, which is slightly lighter. In terms of build quality, both phones are made out of plastic, but the ZTE Flash does have a soft touch material which makes the device feel more premium than the Sharp Aquos phone's plasticky and smudge-friendly back. The back of the devices are also pretty similar. You can see that we have the camera lens on both, which protrudes slightly, although again, the ZTE Flash does protrude a little bit more. Overall, in terms of design and integration of just design in general, from the hardware perspective, we have to say that the Sharp Aquos phone is a little bit more of a standout than the ZTE Flash, simply because it weighs slightly less and has a more streamlined design. That said, the ZTE Flash isn't bad at all, just not as slimline, not as modern looking, not as individualized, but still it has some special features here and there, including that nice and soft grippy material on the back, and the fact that it does have a pretty premium feel in the hand overall as well. Taking a closer look at the screens of both phones, on the ZTE Flash we have a 4.5-inch IPS display. It's pretty bright and vibrant, but it is an AMOLED. Viewing angles are extremely good and color saturation so are very impressive, although the screen gets washed out under direct sunlight. Contrastingly, the Sharp Aquos phone uses a proprietary screen produced by Sharp, and it has an interesting vivid mode which allows the screen to be even brighter than it already is. The actual screen, however, measures only 4.3 inches, although the ticker display on the bottom extends the phone's dimensions to be around 4.5 inches, which is the same as the regular ZTE Flash. That said, in terms of multimedia content, we did find that the larger screen real estate did balance out the fact that the Sharp Aquos phone's display is brighter and more vivid. So in terms of watching movie and content and browsing the web, the phone that you might be more comfortable with would be the ZTE Flash. Taking a look at the camera, which is a main selling point for both handsets, we can launch into that directly by using a shutter key on the ZTE Flash, but unfortunately there is not a shutter key found on the Sharp Aquos phone. With that in mind, however, the camera quality on both devices are actually not as close as you might think. Even though the ZTE Flash has a 12 megapixel camera sensor with in comparison to the Sharp Aquos phone's 8 megapixel camera sensor, we found that in testing, the Sharp Aquos phone has better quality shots in general in terms of resolution and focus, whereas the ZTE Flash has better color saturation. The Sharp Aquos phone has better focusing abilities. So, for example, you have something like a dice here in the box, and this is very close to the subject. You can see that the Sharp Aquos phone focuses very quickly and takes the shots in high resolution and vivid imagery. And both devices, of course, support 1080p video recording capabilities, by the way. But whereas with the ZTE Flash, if I get really close to the subject, it will not focus no matter what I do, and images are always blurry. So if you're comparing shots like panoramic shots, the ZTE Flash is your better companion because it has that panorama feature, whereas the Sharp Aquos phone lacks a panorama shot mode. But if you're planning on using a lot of close-up macro shots, then the Sharp Aquos phone is your better bet overall in comparison to the ZTE Flash. That said, both devices deliver very solid cameras with high-resolution sensors. ZTE Flash is also slightly more, the colors are slightly more accurate than the Sharp Aquos phone. So all in all, in terms of having a better all-around camera, I would still go with the Sharp Aquos phone, unfortunately. However, if you don't care about the very close-up shots, you're just taking very far-away shots, the ZTE Flash does have a better camera sensor on board in terms of pixel density and resolution. Taking a closer look at the web browsing experience inside and day-to-day usage, both phones are fairly adequate and responsive. That said, sluggishness and occasional hangups are something that both phones will experience. They are not the fastest phones on the market, unfortunately, and for that reason, they aren't the best for playing extensive 3D games. Light browsing and some Flash videos will play back fine. We did find that transitioning between different menus took a little bit longer on the Sharp Aquos phone than it did on the ZTE Flash, so for a slightly more responsive phone, I would say the ZTE Flash is a little bit more powerful, even though both phones have 1.5 GHz dual-core processors on board. Perhaps this is because the ZTE Flash uses a more up-to-date version of Android 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich, whereas the Sharp Aquos phone has remained stuck on Android 2.3 Gingerbread, and no release has been launched by Sharp as of this moment. Taking a quick look at the general phone qualities of both handsets, we found that as phones, the Sharp Aquos phone produced a little bit sharper calls in terms of sound quality, and also speakerphone was a little bit louder. But with that said, the ZTE Flash also offers very good reception, especially here in Seattle as a CDMA network handset. And overall, both devices are pretty good CDMA phones. They offer pretty good reception and decent sound quality. As far as battery life is concerned, however, the ZTE Flash will win. This is because the Sharp Aquos phone actually has a pretty low battery life, especially if you're using it. On standby mode, the phone will last about a week, but if you plan on using Wi-Fi and browsing the web heavily, it's only going to last you through a day, whereas the ZTE Flash tended to last about 2 days before we had to recharge it. So if you're looking for a better all-around device in terms of having the ability to play back multimedia on a larger screen, all-around performance, perhaps the ZTE Flash will win and triumph over the Sharp Aquos phone. However, if you're looking for something that's unique, more eye-catching in terms of design, and having a better camera in terms of close-up shots than far-away shots, and better better call quality, and you don't necessarily care about the larger screen real estate or the slightly lower battery life, then the Sharp Aquos phone is still a very respectable device. In terms of pricing, both devices are pretty similar as non-contract phones, so they can both retail for around $500 or so, but with a contract, the ZTE Flash will be significantly lower priced than the Sharp Aquos phone. So in the States, it would make, of course, more sense to purchase the ZTE Flash rather than the Sharp Aquos phone. That said, there are some features that differ from each model. For example, the ZTE Flash has NFC technology built in for wireless transmission of data and information, whereas the Sharp Aquos phone has a waterproof and dustproof capabilities built on board. So if you're looking for a more rugged device, this device would triumph. If you're looking for a more general, again, NFC support, day-to-day usage, if you go on trains and subways a lot in New York, then the ZTE Flash will be for you. So you're looking at something that's more specialized versus something that's more better for general usage. Thanks for watching this video tech fight between the ZTE Flash and also the Sharp Aquos phone. And in this price fight, we would say that the ZTE Flash comes out a little bit on top in comparison with the Sharp Aquos phone. Thanks for watching here at OS and VTXreviews.com and our brother site, OS Tech News.